AVC, hope you're having a good Sunday morning. It's John here. I don't know if, like me, you subscribe to a lot of people's channels, but there's one or two people's channels that you tend to look at every video they do religiously, and for me, one of them is LJ Biosite 1. I'll put a link to his channel below. The reason being is that it's usually quite varied. It's not just latest acquisitions or whatever. And I particularly like the stuff that he does on gear. So whether it be cassette decks or other decks that he's renovating or whatever. But one of the interesting exchanges of information that we did have, or a small conversation, was about 8-track cartridges. And the reason for that being is that he did do a video about the 8-track, and he held up a sealed copy that he got, or a very good copy, of Journey Escape, which is an album which came out, I think it was in 1981, and I bought it on vinyl at the time, and I've since bought it on CD. But I was amazed to see it in cartridge form, because in the UK cartridges never really made an impact, and you tend to think of it as being a bit of a common market. What you can get here is what you can get in the States. And that clearly wasn't the case, because I only remember one person, a friend of mine, whose dad had an 8-track player in his car, and I remember sitting on his drive playing it and switching between the channels. So I thought, I've got to look into this some more. And by sheer coincidence, in Mojo magazine, which I know you do get in the States as well as in the UK, there's an article. They feature What Goes On, they call it, and this month in 1970, and this is the August edition, there was an article about cassettes, and it said, following EMI's investment of 100,000 in a tape manufacturing, £100,000 that is, manufacturing plant, one newspaper predicts that tape will capture 40% of the music market within the next 4 years, and that was in 1970. I got my first cassette player in 1974, in January, when I was 11. So cartridges really never won the war in this country, and they were never really popular. So I decided I'd got to look into this more, and so I started looking on eBay, and this is sort of really the results of me looking on eBay. Okay, so this was my first acquisition. I found it on eBay. It's an Akai GXR 82D. Paid £67 for it. It was a nice couple, lived in the middle of nowhere, went and fetched it, and it was sold as working, and they said that all the lights power up, etc., and that is true. The only trouble is I didn't have a cartridge to test it with, so you might remember from a recent video that we went to Florida, and I bought two cartridges while we were there. And when I tried it, all the lights did indeed light up. Unfortunately, it has a dead channel. The right hand channel just wouldn't work. The VU meter lights up. So I started investigating, and I found a site in the States, which I will put a link to as well, because it's really helpful. And that advised me that the one problem with the Akai, whilst these things are built to last and it weighs, is really heavy. Unfortunately, they have a fault with the heads, which means that sometimes you lose one of the channels, and it's really irreparable unless you're an absolute expert in putting these together, because you can't get a replacement head. So that was pretty disappointing to me, because I did pay £67, which is quite a lot, but I didn't have the heart to take it back to them, because well, let's say they didn't realise, and it came in its box, original box, with the instructions. So that will be going back on eBay to be sold as parts. So that meant that my search had to continue, and that search concluded with my acquisition of this, which is an Akai CR81D, slightly older. I think this was probably circa 72, 73. And what you'll see is, if you look on ebay.co.uk, you can't get in the UK proper hi-fi 8-tracks like this from beyond that age, whereas in ebay.com you would be able to find, this is my first cassette deck, which I got in 1979, again that's down to LJ, because I got it out of the loft after seeing one of his videos there. And I also got this one out as well, which is a Technics, which is quite much newer. But this you can get cartridge players in the States which is this sort of vintage, late 70s, but you can't get a cartridge player that's beyond about 1972, 73. They just weren't produced in this country because there was no demand. So this is the latest addition to my unit, my system I mean, and this is Hot Tuner, which is an offshoot of Jefferson Airplane. This is one of the ones that I got in the States. So we'll just start it all up and press. So you can see VC, I've started a journey on 8 tracks now. What it's meant is I've had to start rearranging this room. It's got not enough racking for that. I've had to move what was there before, which was settee, all my old headphones out, and at the minute I need to improve the racking there significantly. But the sound's great. It's really different, really warm sounding. I say it's just a bit unfortunate at the minute I've only got the 2 cartridges, but I have got a few bids in on eBay, so hopefully I'll be growing that fairly rapidly. So there you have it, VC. I'm now on the lookout for 8-track cartridges, so if anybody wants to trade or sell me some, I know the postage is high but I don't mind paying that. I really would like some late 70s rock, anything really that's sort of as long as it's not easy listening or comedy or musicals. And so on that note, VC, I'd just like to say, as you can clearly see, LJ, it is all your fault, and so ciao.